mysterious. If I do something like this, I feel like everyone's gonna know what this book is just by like the tabs. You know what I mean? Anyway, how do I start this? Okay, cut 2. Should I say that I'm new first? Does that make sense? Or should I just like start with like the 7 books? The 7 books that I read. In fact, I had to count this. Let's just start off. Hello. Hi. This works. I don't know why I'm thinking so hard. Okay. Hello. I'm Kai. Go by CaiiLeee Reads. I'm new here, obviously. So this is kind of a mix-up between a newbie get to know me read, a new me get to know me video. This is gonna be a mix-up between that and all the books that I read in February. I feel like I'm late for that, but I feel like that would be the best way for you to really know me, to really like present the books that I like. I feel like it'll just be easier that way, you know? So you can see the books that I enjoy reading and the books that I may not enjoy reading, and that might just like, you can kind of get my personality from that vibe, you know what I mean? And the books I am going to show you do not just represent the only, what's the word, genre that I enjoy. I enjoy a ton of genre. Like, all different types. I even amaze myself when I read a book and I'm like, oh, I'm not gonna like this. And I really like it, so yeah. I'm gonna be awkward for the first, like, 5 minutes, but once I get rolling, I'll be alright. Don't worry. So I read 7 books last month. Oh. And why I'm not starting out with like TBR jar picks my March reads or anything like that. I really wanted to. Like, I was already thinking of like a board game I could make. I was really excited. But I kinda got ahead of myself. I kinda just picked my TBR reads already. So that happened, and now I'm already like halfway done with my first book, and it's the first. I'm like, how do I? So I feel bad if I have to like throw away my list to make a whole new list. I mean, I would do it for you guys. I would. I really would. But I really want to read these books, and I would be so sad if like some of them don't get picked because of the jar suggested I should read this, or because the board game says I should do this. So I just felt like I had to explain that really quickly, but back to it. Okay. The 7 books that I read this month. I read 7. I was supposed to read 8, but midway through this pile right here, I think I totally just forgot about it. And it was in one of my book sleeves, so I just didn't even see it. So that's my fault. That's my fault. I should have definitely had it out so I can remember to read it. It is a memoir, so it wasn't like totally... It was a memoir, so it wasn't like totally forefront of my mind. It wasn't like, ooh, the story. I was only like 40 pages into, so I'm really trying to challenge myself and read at least 1 memoir a month. It went well the first month of the year. Last month, not so much. So this month we're gonna try to finish that memoir, and hopefully you can see what I've been reading for that memoir. Okay. Anyway, I keep going on tangents because I like to talk, so I'm sorry if I talk too much for you. These are all the books that I read. I feel like everyone's gonna tell what this book is just by the tabs on it, because the tabs match the book. I don't know if all the girlies do that, but I enjoy doing that. I like, there's some like the simplicity of just your tabs matching the color of the book. It's just so good. Like, okay, anyway. So the first book that I read is Black Girls Die Exhausted. Oh, Black Girls Must Die Exhausted. The fact that that is covered up by her last name, I'm not happy with that. I just realized it. I think it's the only book with a sticker. I hate stickers. I really do hate stickers. Okay, I'm not gonna, it's on there for too long, and you know when you pull it off and it's just gonna, I'm not gonna do it. By Jane Allen? Yes, Allen. This book was really good. I really enjoyed it. I feel like some parts of it was just missing for me because I really wanted to read a book by a black author. By a black author. I feel like there's so many books on my shelf, and like probably one of them is by a black author, so I felt really bad going into February, you know, Black History Month, not reading one. So I picked this one. It was good. I gave it a 3.5 if I'm not mistaken. I enjoyed it. I felt like the story was just a little too fast for me. Like one day she's here, then the next day this is happening. It was just a little weird for me, but I feel like if she keeps writing, I'm really gonna enjoy her books, and I know that this is technically a series, so I think there's 2 more. I'm not sure, don't quote me on that, but I think there's more to this story. But either way, I really enjoyed this book. 3.5, and yeah, I feel like there's nothing really bad about it. It was just moving a little too fast for me, and I didn't get the context clues that I really wanted to know, like what is really happening. Well, other than that, it was good. It's about, of course I should say what it's about, right? So it's about this black woman in her 30s. She has everything. Good job, yes, yes, yes. Good boyfriend, yes. And then she is diagnosed with something that pretty much like she feels like her life is crashing because of this diagnosis. So she just pretty much goes from there and like gets help from her family, her friends, and her grandmother, which I think is the sweetest little old lady. It's like, I love her. I love the grandma. Every time it's like her scenes, I low-key feel like we should have just had a book of the grandma. That's just my opinion, okay? That's just me, okay? The next book is Wrong Time, Wrong Place by Gillian McAllister. I'm gonna be really bad with saying names. Just putting that out there. I want to be low-key bad, but I'm gonna try. I'm gonna try my best, okay? This book is about, it's pretty much a groundhog type of concept with a twist. So it's not like she's repeating the exact same day over and over. It's like, can I say that? Yeah, okay. It's like yesterday, and then maybe a week from yesterday, and then she's just going back in time, pretty much. That's pretty much what she's doing, just going back in time to figure out. Yeah, okay. I really feel like I should have read the back of these, because this was a month ago, and I feel like this book is not really on my brain, you know what I mean? Like, I'm not really, the characters aren't really sticking with me right now, but she's pretty much going back in time to find out why her son is arrested and why he killed someone. You know what I mean? You don't, because unless you read it, then you do know what I mean. So you might know what I mean. That's a loud truck, like, oh my gosh. Okay. I gave this book, if I'm not mistaken, I gave this book I think I gave it a 3.5 also. I'm not sure. I feel like it could have been a 4. Let's get out the information. It was a 4. I rated this book a 4. I think I enjoyed it. I think it wasn't like any of the other Groundhog Day type of trope that I read. It came with its own little twist. It wasn't the same day over and over and over, which I actually enjoyed. So yeah, this book, really good. I enjoyed it. So the next book, I feel like I have to tell a story because I don't want to just pull it out and you see how it looks. So I got a new bed frame and everything. I was taking apart my old one and building my new one. And as I'm taking apart my old bed, I find this book just under there. And I'm like, how? When did I buy this book? It was even on my list in my book journal that I wanted to read it, and I didn't find this until last month. At some point, I bought this book and lost it, and forgot that I lost it. I don't know how, but it's here, and it is called Star-Crossed, by Minnie Derrick? I was about to say Drake for a second, I really was. Star-Crossed. It's about, okay, I was just making sure, Star-Crossed. It's about the astrology, obviously, and one of the characters are really into astrology, and she kind of tries to fiddle with it a little bit to try to get what she wants, because she knows that the guy that she really likes is into it and a diehard, like will die by the horoscope. So pretty much along those lines, that's what this book is about. I enjoyed it. It was okay. I thought it was gonna be more romance, and it wasn't. If you're reading this book thinking you're gonna get some romance, you're not. It was definitely like every now and then a quote that was like romantic. I was like, oh, that's cute. But that was it. Like, nothing here is underlined. I even put tabs in here thinking, I should actually take these out, thinking that, oh, this is gonna be, I'm gonna need this. There's gonna be quotes in here that I'm gonna want to save. There wasn't. There really wasn't. So that's why this book looks like that, is because it was under my bed for God knows how long, just sitting there waiting to be found. I guess I spilled something one day or something, that's why they're crumpled, but we found it. I finally got it off of my list on my book journal, so that's a plus. I think I rated this book yeah, that makes sense. I rated this book a 3. But I don't think 3s are bad. I think when you start touching 2.5s, 2s, that's how you know a book might just be like, eh. But I rated this a 3 because it was cute. The concept of it was cute. The astrology point of it was really cute. There was parts of it that I wished like would happen but didn't happen. We had a perspective from a dog, which I thought was really cool, because that dog, I was like, the dog became my homie. His homies became my homie. But other than that, it was like, I wasn't really there for the two main characters. I really wasn't. I was there for, once the dog became a thing, I was like, okay, we're reading it for the dog. Yeah, halfway through, I just couldn't, I was just dreading it. And then finally I got to page, like 50 pages before I was about to finish it, and I was just like, yes, finish the book! So yes, that is Star-Crossed. I technically wouldn't really recommend, but if you like astrology and horoscope stuff, you might like this. Just know that there's no romance, okay? I told you. I told you. And then the 4th book that I read in February, I feel like everyone loves this book, and I kept thinking to myself, said self. She said what? So we really gotta read this book. She said, okay, let's go buy it. And then one day I came across, you know those little libraries that are just outside, little book libraries? Walk across one, and I find this book inside. I was like, this is the time! It has come! Tomorrow and Tomorrow and Tomorrow by Gabrielle Zevin. I don't even know what to say. So many good things. I definitely rated this book 5 stars. It is so good. It is So I really enjoyed it. And for a gamer's perspective, well, let me not rush. This book is about two gamers, or people who enjoy gaming and want to make games because they were still young when the first part started. They pretty much grow up together through this entire book. You know, they're like in their 18s, 19s, and then now all of a sudden they're like 50. But it was done so freaking well. The writing was so good. I didn't want to stop. I really didn't. It was great. It was really great. And it was really sad, for me at least. I tabbed the heck out of this thing. I could tab more, but there were some parts I was like, oh, this is the same page. Let me just chill out. Let me just make sure that this is tabbed for that page. I can remember that page. All of the sad parts for me are pink. They're all pink. Do you see all those pinks? It's so good though. I really enjoyed this book. I wish I read it sooner, but I feel like it happened when it was supposed to happen, so I'm not mad at it. Yeah, I gave this book a 5 stars. It is so good. If you haven't read it and you enjoy games, read this. You will not be disappointed. I'm telling you. Okay, so the 5th book. Yes, the 5th book that I read this month, I would say, should I just show the whole, because it's technically a series, so the 5th, 6th, and 7th book of this last month was a series. I'll just go one by one so you can get my real rating for each one. Yes. Yes, I did it. Yes, I know. I know, it's old. It's one of the older ones. It's okay. I enjoyed myself. Shadow and Bone by Leah Bardugo. I think I said that right. It's pretty much about 2 orphans who have to fight for the king, which is not really fighting anyone. I guess they're fighting monsters. One of them figures out that they have the power of the Grisha people, and she pretty much has to now go train with the Grisha people, go live with the Grisha people, and leave her best friend of all times. And it just goes from there. Just her training and learning and figuring out her power and what she's supposed to do with it and all of this stuff. I really enjoyed it. I did want to read this once I saw the show. I don't know how that might make you feel, but I didn't want to watch the show before I read the book, if that makes sense. So I definitely wanted to wait it. I definitely wanted to wait. I wanted to wait for myself to read it before I watch. And now I'm like starting the show because I finished the series. Because the next book I read was Season Storm, and it was okay. It was good. Like, I think this is definitely the lowest rating one out of all 3 of them that I have. Like, oh, so this was a 4? A 4.5 for me? I really want to say 4.3 because it was like, it's almost a 4.5, but it just, But it was really good to make me want to keep reading the series. Now this one kind of made me want to quit, but I know that they were just building up to get to the 3rd book. Well, at least that's what I was hoping when I was reading this. I was like, please just be the build up, because what's going on right now? Where is the everything? Like, it was just very mid to me. Excuse me, I almost just died. Hold on, sip of water. Better. It was very just mid to me. I really tried my fastest to get through this book. Is that right? My best to get through this book fast. She was gonna get it. Yeah, it was just very slow. I can tell that the world was just building. Even the map in the beginning, this book does have maps, all 3 of them. I really enjoy my maps. I don't know how you feel. Even the map was like bigger and more intricate with different towns and places, so I did enjoy that. But it wasn't until like the last 50 pages I was like, oh, But then the last 50 pages happened. I was like, okay, now we're getting somewhere. So that's how I felt like the world was just kind of just trying to build it up. I was really confused why they didn't just do that in the first book. But it is what it is. So then the last book that I read, which I finished, if I'm not mistaken, I finished it like 2 days ago exactly, was Ruin and Rising. I really enjoyed this book a lot. They came through. They came through with it. You hear me? They did the dang thing, okay? Don't come for me. The dang thing. They did it, alright? This book was really good. Like, in the first 150 pages, you over here giggling, you over here covering your mouth because you can't believe that just happened. You over here mad, but you sad, but you happy because they just cracking up with the jokes because you can tell that they're just trying to get through it as best as they can. Yeah. I really enjoyed this book. So much happened in the first 200 pages. I was just sitting there like that for a long time. I was just like 30 pages in. My mouth was still covered, and I was like, this is good. This is really good. This is what I kind of expected from the second book. It's okay that it didn't happen. But I enjoyed the heck out of this book. I liked the ending. I felt like there was a question or two that could have been answered for me, but then I realized now I need to go read Six of Crows. Maybe some questions get answered for me from there. So now Six of Crows is on my list. What can you do? What can you do? It happened. You know what I mean? So now I have to go read those two books. Which I'm not mad at. I probably won't get to that soon, but that's okay. But yeah, this book I rated, if I'm not mistaken, I don't think it was a 5. I think it was like a good 4.5. It was a good 4. I rated the first book and the second book. The first book and the third book, the same rating. But the first book was like a 4.3 for me. This was definitely 4.5. Like, most definitely. Yeah. I really enjoyed all these books. As you can tell, there wasn't really except one book that I think got a 3, but everything else was to my liking, I must say. And that doesn't really happen that often. I feel like I'm nervous, so my words are getting all jumbled up. But that doesn't really happen that often. So I am glad I had a good month of reading, and I'm already into my next book. Halfway done with it for March, and it is the first. Happy first of the month, y'all. It is about to be springtime. I say that, and then I live in New York, so I'm like, is it really though? Cause it's cold as heck outside right now. We'll see. When I keep making videos, you'll see the progression if it's spring or not, okay? Cause if it is, I'm about to go outside to a park, ride my little bike. Yes, I like riding bikes, okay? Anyway, thank you for joining me on all the books that I read in February. I hope you have some good books that you read in February, and if you read the same books that I read in February, please comment below and tell me if you enjoyed it also, or if you hated it, or if whatever. Yeah, so thank you for watching, for joining me, a newbie. Hopefully you can join me some more. We could be friends. I always look for new friends. Always. And yeah, so I appreciate you guys. I hope you have a good one. Please like this video if you want to. Subscribe if you want to. That would be really nice. I will know that I am getting somewhere and that people like what I'm making so far. And yeah, but there's no buts. I don't know. There is no buts. I don't know why I just said buts. Anyway, let me sign off here because I'm gonna just keep talking because I do that a lot. Yeah. Yeah. Okay, thank you guys. Alright, have a good one. Later.